Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the Gay Space Rocks podcast. I am your host, Brian, and I'm here, as always, with my co-host and partner in life, Ari.
Hey.
Every week I'm going to do it, because I know it embarrasses you.
I'm so glad for you that you have this little intro worked up, and I don't really want to step on it, so we'll just keep doing it.
Cool. Well, this is our third podcast. We actually made it to 3, which is kind of crazy that we stuck with something this long.
Totally weird.
This one's going up a little bit later because we had a lot of things to do this weekend, and we did not get a chance to do the things. We're far too active and busy and social.
We just got drunk.
We got real drunk and funny clothes.
Mostly
guys.
me.
Mostly, yeah.
Real talk. Listen, yeah. Things are hard.
Things are hard.
Time is an illusion. So, who needs consistency?
Time is an illusion because I don't want to stick to the schedule because I was drunk.
Listen, suck a dick.
Fair enough. So this week we had so after last week's Super Fluff episode, we had another just dwarf star heavy episode of Steven Universe with Storm in the room. And so we'll talk about that in a second. We figured since we kind of like pairing them with older episodes and getting a retrospective on what's happened. And because of what's mentioned in this particular episode, we'll go back and we will look at Lion 3 straight to video and kind of talk about how how things have sort of evolved since way back in season 1. Keep forgetting there's like 200 fucking episodes of this goddamn thing.
It's a lot.
It's all blurred together into one candy-colored goddamn typhoon.
Also Steven's voice.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
That's weird.
So this is the last episode where I'm gonna mention it, but we're gonna spoil the holy goddamn out of everything that's coming next. So pause this, go watch the episode, get caught up with the rest of the class, and come back. So, all right. So we pick up with Storm in the room pretty much directly after last week's episode, which is weird. This has been a really consistent series of like 1, 2, 3, like sort of continuity.
Usually there's a passage of time in between some of the activity, or it's just,
They're much more standalone usually. And I'm wondering if this is like a move toward toward like kind of a new, trying to get the format a little bit better, because they now know that, that they're releasing these in like bombs where they're all really compact together, or if it's just this particular storyline definitely lends itself to that. And this is definitely
order, kind of, yeah.
And this is definitely the end cap to the whole out in space, like this whole little arc that's been going on emotionally with all of the characters, I feel like.
I would be surprised if we didn't have some sort of standalone passage of time kind of episode. Like, where do you go from like, and the gang eats pizza at the end of the episode?
Yeah,
so,
exactly. So I think this is probably the end of that for at least right now. But I feel like it was a really good capstone on all of that, though. Brought together a lot of stuff that's been simmering together. So Steven and Connie are playing games. Connie's mom has not come to pick her up, and as they're playing games and passing time, Connie is getting progressively more freaked out because she is a worrier.
She is, and I think it was a good callback to remind you, because we've had brave, cool, impressive President Maheshwaran, in the past couple of episodes, and so it like to remind you that this is a fundamental part of her character, that she's a worrier, and that she used to be scared to do anything or tell her parents anything, and she's grown so much, but this is still a fundamental part of her personality. So
right, and it's interesting that Steven does not. I think it's probably because his parents ish people are fucking space rock superheroes. But it's interesting that like Steven sort of is coming really slowly to the realization that Connie's straight up freaking out, and doesn't kind of realize why. Like I don't know if he's necessarily. I'm sure he grasps it because he's a human being capable of empathy. But it's interesting his kind of being like, all right, well, you're really freaked out. And he seems kind of confused, like, why she's so freaked out.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's bookended well with, like, and now he's going to eat the macaroni and cheese alone in the temple by himself.
Yeah. And he definitely didn't want to be, by himself.
So it's, it's an interesting, because we have the perspective of Connie's parents being kind of helicopter parents and being too overprotective or whatever, but they still really love and care about her.
Right.
And then there's Steven's parents that are the opposite of that. They're very loving and very care about him, obviously, but there have been multiple occasions where they have been not present.
Yeah.
Probably because they don't know how to parent, and he doesn't live with his dad really anymore, so he's just kind of visiting, spending time with. I
mean, Steven is definitely, for a kid who's never been to school, is a really capable 13-year-old.
Very capable, yeah.
So right here, I really want to talk about how fucking amazing the sound design is this episode. There's no song. There's no big musical number. It's just a fucking nominal sound design from start to finish, and especially the part when Connie leaves and everything is so quiet and stark, because Steven Universe is an episode, or is a show, it's like music, and they have great music. Like, I love Steven Universe's music, but this does so much to push the emotional through line of Steven feeling alone and isolated, and he doesn't know who to talk to.
The rain and the microwave beeping and this is the sound of depression, in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
This is what it sounds like, is utter solitude and microwaving yourself some fucking ramen.
Exactly.
And being alone. So.
And it's just so good.
It's really good. Yeah.
So, and then once Steven has his whole existential talking to the painting, goes into the room, which, I mean, he mentions it too, but goddamn, he never thought to do this before.
I don't know. I mean, I guess this gets to the fundamental question is is this a thing that he is independently having the idea of, or is it some manifestation of Rose, which we disagree about? So maybe it is Rose telling him,
or maybe the room just reacts to how he's feeling.
Yeah, I feel like
also the last 2 times he's been in the room, it's been a fucking nightmare hellscape.
Right. Why would you want to go back? And at the beginning of this, I was like, well, don't go.
Oh, God.
Don't do it.
Steven gonna get eat.
And especially with, the Nega Rose moment, I'm like, she's going to eat him. Something's going to happen. So, anyways. So, yeah, I guess we could talk about is Rose on some level, or is she just a projection of Steven's subconscious of what he imagines his mother would be like?
And I think it's interesting to see Steven, because, I mean, we've not seen these two characters on screen before. And, I mean, this isn't necessarily real Rose, but still. And, the Steven working through, what does one do with parents?
Play a sport.
How do parents?
Yeah, and especially the thing that was very much this is a projection of Steven's subconscious was the Rose's sports monologue. Every sport,
so good.
It's it's exactly because we watched line 3 straight to video, right? Where she's every human being has its own capability for unique manifestations of life and blah blah blah. And this is the only words that he's heard his mother say.
Yeah, anytime Rose has been on the show, if she has a speaking part and it lasts more than 15 seconds, she's gonna talk about how beautiful and individual everything in the fucking universe is.
We get it. So
everything's beautiful, great. Okay.
So that applying that to sports was just cheesy as fuck and really funny.
I they're definitely getting good at calling back to earlier moments and deconstructing their own narrative at this point, which I feel like they've been building. They've earned it. It's not a cheap narrative tactic. They've definitely earned being able to deconstruct the world that they've built. I mean, shit, we're on season 4.
Yeah.
So this is about the time you start deconstructing your heroes.
Yeah. And so then we get to the Nega Rose, Scary Rose, and I was like, oh no, something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
He's gonna get swirled away into a tornado, scary mouth version of Rose, and she's just gonna chomp him up. I don't know, because I'm scared of room and bad things happen there.
Yeah, and I thought that's where they I too, when I first saw it, I thought that's where they were gonna go to. It was gonna be some kind of trippy thing, but I think it was so much better from a storytelling perspective for him to just stand there and yell literally into a void.
Yeah.
And this is a really good episode, guys.
Screaming into the void.
Yeah.
Steven Universe. Storm in the room. But I think, outlining that Steven feels like his mother used him to escape the situation that she created.
Right.
Like, and I think we talked last episode about Steven's guilt, like, you know,
a couple episodes
ago. I mean, there's only 3, so like whatever.
Exactly a couple of episodes ago.
Exactly a couple of episodes ago. But we talked about Steven's guilt and how he feels like, you know, he is the reason his mother isn't there, but his mother is the reason that his mother isn't there.
Yeah,
like, she made the choice
she made the choice to do this. And
so,
and I know, like, the show is sort of like Steven is our avatar to the rest of the universe, because, you know, he started off on the show not knowing a lot about the crystal gems, and we learn about their world and their history at the same time he does. And so his feelings about these things influence the way that we look at things. But I personally, and I mean, we definitely, Ari and I could probably sit here and debate for 15 minutes on whether or not we think the Rose is the real Rose. I'm in the column A, column B thing that, like, the most of it's not real Rose, but I think the very end part's real Rose. Ari thinks it's just full manifestation of Steven's
subconscious screaming into the void. Like, he's there alone by himself, and, you know.
But I think these feelings towards Rose from our main point of view character, I don't necessarily think those are... it's valid because those are his feelings, but I don't think it's a real reading of Rose as a character, who we'll probably never fucking see anyways.
Yeah. I feel like it's definitely much more a manifestation of Steven's feelings and his guilt, and that weird cycle of, like, you know, feeling guilty that he exists, and also wanting to kind of put that, like, place that blame, which he never, like, it was the first time we have him articulate that in the series, is that, like,
he's finally kind of, he's getting through the point of time where he's blaming himself for everything.
Like, everything is my fault in the, you know, my dad's got snatched away to space and everything is my fault because I couldn't just do what people told me to do. You know, I wanted to find out answers for myself. And, you know, and I actually really basically it's all your fault, Rose Quartz. But also, I guess I wouldn't exist if you didn't do the thing you did. So
YOLO.
But
yeah, I think I find it interesting that we're finally getting, like, I wouldn't necessarily call Steven angsty, because all of his goddamn emotions, all of his anger is pretty fucking justified at this point. He's been trapped in space twice. He got, you know, futuristic human horseshoes and all that jazz. And we're deconstructing the savior image that he had of his mom.
Yeah,
and
I feel like
in part himself. And
we went back, you know, like when we watched Line Through the Straight video, I'm like, you know, Steven is still a pure cinnamon roll, but he's kind of like, he's getting more jaded, you know, through some of his experiences. Like when we, you know, going back to the Stephen bomb, like all the people who don't know shit about shit, like the fake humans or whatever. And he's like, listen, Dad, we can't deal with these people. We got the fuck out of here, Dad. Come on, Jesus.
We gotta go.
You know, and I feel like this is another manifestation of, like, Steven has grown up a little bit and he's more jaded and he realizes complexity of things and he's less of a adorable, flawless, guilt-free cinnamon roll. So
right. And I'm really, I mean, we're, I don't know, I have no idea where we are in the season. I don't think numbers even mean anything anymore in Steven Universe, but I'm really excited to see how this pays off, because there's a big payoff coming. We've got a big emotional through line with Steven. We've got the diamonds coming back to Earth at some point, probably by the end of this season. And then, you know, when the diamonds get back here, we're hopefully going to see a confrontation between the crystal gems and the diamonds, and where we'll get, you know, we'll finally figure out what the fuck happened to Pink Diamond, what actually happened to Pink Diamond. Because it's very interesting to see how these characters are sort of like how the characters are evolving so right now. So I'm really excited to see how this motherfucker pays off. So we also went back and watched
Lion 3 straight to video.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. First note, Steven's somehow going through reverse puberty, guys. I don't know if you've gone back and watched season 1.
Like, His voice is so much deeper.
It's so much deeper.
It's just like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's like obviously it's the same voice actor, and I definitely like the new Timber more than the old Timber.
I don't know.
I feel like it physically fits Steven a lot better for it to be higher pitched.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Because he's a small.
Very small. But beyond that, like, I distinctly remember watching this the first time and not really. I mean, this is when I first got into Steven Universe. Just watching this episode and then the lion stuff is really good. This is, I feel like, our first real, like, the real surreal moments of Steven Universe. This is one of the first tastes of this. I don't remember, to be perfectly honest. That was like 150,000 episodes ago. But I really like the surrealist, like, field dreamscape sort of vibe when he's like getting repeatedly stuck in.
Can we just talk about Dogcopter for a second? Because, like, if we're going to talk about surrealism, Dogcopter being like, art is a conversation. Every choice you make is like has meaning, and like eating the chess piece and flying
So
away.
good.
And I'm just like, yeah.
King me, whale.
Make some art. Yeah, it's just like live your dreams, like weird existentialist, like what is the meaning of art moment in the middle of Steven Universe. So that was a nice little dreamscape, but yeah, pretty surreal. Both being in Lion's Mane and also Steven's weird ass dreams with Dogcopter.
Pretty solid. I really like the because I didn't know what the hell they were setting up initially, and also Pearl's real sweet watching Steven sleep. I mean, sweet but creepy.
Oh, it's so sweet. Like how he's just like, all right, everyone's gonna let Steven go to bed now. Everyone get the hell out of my room. Goddamn.
I like when not Rose, but Pearl comes back out. She's like, Steven won't let me watch him sleep anymore. So one of you guys has to do it.
Like, it's really, and it's one of those things that's like, going back to the earlier point, like, we see Connie's parents as like outrightedly helicopter-y parents in the normal human sense, but Pearl is her own helicopter parent in her own way, right? But doesn't know how to parent because she's like an eternal space rock.
Right, because otherwise Steven would definitely be in school.
Yeah, well.
I imagine...
What is the school?
Well, what is school when you don't have a birth certificate?
True.
And also are part alien.
So, Lion's Mane.
Really cool. All of the Easter eggs that it sets up, where it felt like... Lion's Mane is the thing that makes me feel like they've definitely had a plan from the beginning. Maybe, it's probably not 100% laid out, but they definitely paid off. I think we've paid off everything that's in there.
Yeah, there's the sword and bismuth and the Mr. Universe shirt and the... What else is in there?
Hot dog picture.
Oh, the little hot dog
picture.
Yeah, so cute. Like, yeah, so they really followed through with all of the story arcs they set up in that, which is good.
There's nothing in the chest. He's opened the chest before, because that's how we got bismuth. Right? I don't remember.
I don't either. So why are we doing the Steven Universe? We clearly know nothing about Steven Universe.
God,
like,
geez.
some of y'all motherfuckers listening probably should do this.
Listen, tell if we've missed something, tell us in the comments.
Or just make your own podcast. Fuck it.
Yeah, make your own podcast.
Suck a dick.
Yeah.
That's my response to everything tonight.
Exactly.
I don't feel good.
I mean, in like a positive way. Suck a dick.
Yeah.
Suck the dick of life.
Yeah.
Be
the dick that you want to see in the world and then suck it.
Exactly. There we go. T-shirt material, guys.
Listen, if every pork chop were perfect, we wouldn't have hot dog. So don't judge my weird analogies. What are we talking about?
Rose. This is her first real appearance, right? This is the first time we hear her speak. And it's very Rose that we now know. It's very Rose.
Everything is magically unique in the universe.
It's true.
On Earth, specifically.
But I think, by comparison to a lot of the people who are, like, repeating things that Rose has said, like, in different stories and stuff like this, like, I feel like she was the most sincere, I guess, about this one. Because I feel like Rose sincerely wanted Steven to exist. One doesn't just give up their physical form.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Steven's weird sadness, like you were running away from your problems, wasn't valid. You know?
Because, I mean, they didn't even know they had problems until recently.
Right.
So, it's a really good, like, I definitely cried like a bitch like the first time I watched this.
It's true. Yeah.
And it's still definitely like a weepy material sort of deal. Also, we get the first mentions of Sadie's mom, and then we get to meet Sadie's mom, who's real fun.
When do we meet
Barb.
Sadie's mom? I
Yeah,
don't
it's
remember.
Barb, the mail lady.
Oh.
Yeah. Also in that one episode where Steven gets in a dress and sings pop songs.
It's been a while.
It's filler episodes. So,
It's slept since then. So.
which, by the way, I say filler episodes. I don't feel like there are any filler episodes in Steven Universe. I love all the stuff with the town people. I love the denizens of Beach City. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our dog again. I'm sorry, guys.
She's real cute, guys.
She's real cute. I'll put a picture of my dog in this somehow.
Cuter than all of Steven Universe.
It's true.
It's a pretty high bar.
It is, but my dog meets it.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't like, go over it because she's very short.
Very small.
But I don't know. I feel like this is a good setup. Like, this is a great way to introduce a character like Rose Quartz, whose shadow looms over the entire series.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. So, because as much as like Steven Universe is about communication and family, it's also 100% about loss and dealing with it, and how to like live up to expectations and stuff like that. So
how everyone deals with grief, and yeah,
which is our main, definitely our main through line this season is how one deals with grief. So, so yeah, next week is the Ronaldo episode. Sneeple. Yes.
Keep Beach City weird.
Keep it as weird as humanly possible, or alienly possible. So that should be pretty interesting. I don't know if I'm going to pair it up with another Ronaldo episode, or
we'll spout off our own
I'll make up. I'll just talk about
theories.
Conspiracy theories the whole time.
Real conspiracy. Chemtrails.
Like chemtrails. Sasquatch is an alien. Does Sasquatch have a soul?
We'll just turn into Ronaldo because we can flip that switch pretty quickly.
Real hard, guys. You don't even understand.
It's true.
Thank you again for tuning in. We really appreciate everybody's feedback and all the people who have been talking on the YouTube comments and then on the Reddit pages. We do have a Facebook if you want to keep up with things. I'm going to try and start posting on it like I'm a real content creator. I'm not, though. I'm just lying.
Neither of us are.
No.
We have like lives and stuff, so.
Yeah, so I'll try and
Things are
comment
hard.
on there. I mean, I'm real bored at work most of the time, so that may actually happen. But, feel free to comment on here. Go to the Facebook page.
Or if you have any interesting Steven Universe topics that you feel like we should discuss.
Yeah, because we're going to run out of episodes real quick.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if there's anything past this Ronaldo episode.
Or we might run out of stuff to talk about in general.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that you want to have a conversation about,
please tell us. We
Let
definitely
us
want to
know.
hear. Yeah. We want to talk to you, greater fandom.
about the Steven Universes.
Yeah. And about your life. How are you doing? Did you have a good day?
Hope that it spends well. Good weather outside.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we're officially out of things to say.
Yeah.
So y'all have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Why did you say you too?
What? No.